Welcome back, Melody, in this conversation. I think our audience tonight are going to love what is going on here on One Talk Radio podcast. We are with one of the greatest relationship coach, that is Melody, who is the CEO and founder of Heart Passion Institute, and also the author of Why Self-Love is the Key to True Love. She's defining to us what true love means, and she's also talking about how to make that true love become true. So I just want to know, what exactly is self-love and how does it help in a relationship and life as a whole?
Self-love is really loving yourself. Loving yourself by becoming conscious of who you are, what your values are, and what matters to you, which is still the values. And sometimes it can even go into your goals in life. Like, what are you here for? What do you want to achieve? And then when you come in contact with somebody to create a relationship, you also will be looking at them from respecting who they are and what's important to them and what their values are and what their goals are. In terms of building a relationship together, if your values are not matching, it is very dangerous to get into a relationship with that person, because you're going to have unnecessary conflict. But most of us think, and women are naturals, so we think when we meet a man whose values don't match ours, we are going to change him and he will become the person, the ideal person we want him to be. And this goes even to the point of when a person still feels they are not good enough or healthy enough because emotionally they haven't matured to love themselves enough. So they feel they can go around finding other women and sleeping around or drinking to excess or smoking or gambling or whatever it is they're using to numb their pain. And you think by being in their life, you're going to change them. That's a very big mistake. That also is a sign that you haven't woken up to loving yourself. Because if you love yourself, you will not allow anything or anyone to hurt you or abuse you, including yourself. When you decide to start to make a choice, because we are here to make choices, when you are making a choice in your life, that choice you are going to make will depend whether you love yourself, you're even aware you love yourself, or you don't. When you don't love yourself, you follow whatever everybody else is doing because that seems cool. You will say whatever everybody is doing. You have said, the thing about mobile phones and people using them. Everyone is saying, oh, it's the mobile phone's fault. Who buys the mobile phone? You do. You can decide right now to put it down and not use it as a crutch to avoid conversations with people that you are supposed to have conversations with. It's a choice. We all make choices. If you love yourself, the choices you're going to make are for your well-being. They are going to serve you. And I've lost friends because of this. Because there are some lines I will not cross because they go against what I believe in. So I will say to people, and I'm always very honest, if I don't agree with something, I will say, even if I'm the only one out of 200 people, I will still say, this is not for me. But I know who I am. I know what's important to me. And I would rather live by my values than kick myself before I sleep because I followed other people's values. That's harder. It's harder for me to live with myself if I do that than if people stop talking to me. Sure, there are like 7 billion people, like I've said. There are other people in the world to make friends with.
That's a very nice mindset. It is what most of us don't even realize. And when you have such kind of talks, it also reminds you of what you're not even thinking about. So you see, when you remind us that there are 7 billion people that you can use, you're just losing one person, but you still have like 6 billion and 999 900 million 999,000 and 909. So you've only lost one. So look at that number.
I don't even know how to say that number. But what I know is it's even easier to meet now because you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have LinkedIn, you have, I don't know how many others, WhatsApp, whatever, to meet these people. It's way easier than it was before, where I used to have a pen pal who was in America. I only had one pen pal. So I thought I was way advanced until they sent me a photograph and I said, oh my God, I'm never going to talk to this person again. But, but it's easier to meet people now. But as human beings, we tend to be very lazy because we think we can put our lives on the shelf and forget about it. And someone is going to mind it. Someone is going to do something. Like everything in life, if it's important to you, you work for it. You what do you call it? You water it like a plant. You feed it. You rest it because it's your life. So you're going to take time to meditate. You're going to take time to reflect. You're going to take time to rest. You're going to take time to just be with the people you want to be with. You're going to take time to make friendships with people. You're not going to take yourself and close yourself up in the house and say, I'm the most important. Anyone who wants to talk to me has to come to me, and you don't need to do anything.
Yes, that's very great, Melody, and it's really interesting to learn a lot of things from you tonight. I just wanted to take you back. We've discussed about traditional life and the authentic life. Now, bringing back on how you put it in your book, you're talking about traditional love and the authentic love. The traditional love, according to your book, is the love you are told, the love the world is sharing, the word we are thinking, we are imagining. But there is the authentic love that perhaps only 1% or maybe 2% of the population across the world have tasted. There's a time I was talking to my friend and I told my friend that since I was born, there is 2 occasions that I've felt the true love. And the reason why I was explaining this to my friend was, when my mom was alive, there was that sense of, missing. People talk about, I miss you. But in real sense, saying I miss you is so easy. Yes. But feeling that, having that feeling of missing someone, there was a time when I could walk because my mom used to stay in another market from our rural place. So it was a distance. And there was a time I used to feel like I really need to see my mom. And I used to walk until, she used to cane me. She used to punish me for walking because I would tell her, okay, you were supposed to be picked this day. Why did you come today? Yeah. And how did you come here? Because that time I don't have money. I don't have a cycle. I don't have anything. So I have to walk. So because there was a feeling inside me of missing her. And I felt that was the true love. It was, you feel that there is something someone is not just near you and you need to have them. And, now I'm trying to ask myself that are we really in a life where there is true love today? Because somebody would be saying over the phone, somebody has a phone and he's like, oh, yeah, I miss you, baby. I really need to see you. And then when she or he puts down the phone, he's forgotten about it. It's normal.
Goes to the next girlfriend and says the exact same thing.
Yes, the same thing. somebody has a car, somebody has a motorbike, and the girl maybe is living like only 2 miles. And you're talking about, I miss you. You can drive over there. You can walk. You can cycle. to go see this person. And yet we're talking about I miss you. So in your book, how do you explain this traditional love and the authentic love, Melody?
In my experience, what I discovered, and I discovered this by accident actually, because I didn't know. What happened was I met this guy. I fell in love with him like too much that my mom thought if he ever broke up with me, I would commit suicide. She even told me this. And she said, I'm really concerned, Melody, like you love this guy too much. You need to scale it down. I didn't know how to do that. So I kind of cheekily said, well, it doesn't matter. He's not going to break up with me anyway. And besides, if he does, who cares? You know, the arrogance of youth, as they say. But what happened to me was I made decisions at the beginning that I was always going to be honest. Honest so much that I did not accept or pretend to accept something I did not agree with. So as we were negotiating about our marriage, because we did that, and we were negotiating and talking about, so what will we do? Scenarios, discussions, whatever. He came up with I would want you to be a stay-at-home mom. And to me, that was like asking me to grow horns. It was just not going to happen. And I say to him, I'm sorry, you need to find somebody else. And he kind of looked at me and I said, yeah, I know, I don't think I'm the right person for you. Because this is not, it's a no for me. And he said, oh, okay. And we parted ways nicely. We didn't fight. He went home, I went home. And then after a couple of days, he came looking for me and we started talking again, negotiating. As far as I was concerned and he was concerned, the issue of me not working was off the table. We never discussed it, but he was the person who helped me, look for a place to go to college, do my CVs. Every job I ever got, he helped me get it. Mm-hmm. But if I had said, okay, fine, and then we get married, and then I start saying, oh, come on, I was not being authentic. And the other thing I noticed was my boyfriend had very low self-confidence. I was lucky. I had parents who praised me incessantly. Both my mom and dad were like love giants. So I grew up thinking I owned the world. I still do. I don't feel limited at all, which is crazy for a Black woman to say. But that's who I am because I grew up in a loving home. Mm-hmm. And I noticed he did not have that. So I worked very hard to make him see himself the way I saw him. I praised him. I always pointed out when he did great. And I did not punish him for things that he did because he was a human. Doesn't mean he did not make mistakes. He did. But when he did, those mistakes, I did not take them like they were intentional, like he did them to punish me. I would notice that he did them because he's human and it's a lesson he needs to learn. We would talk about it, but I wouldn't be saying, why did he do that? No, I never did that. And as a result, he started feeling safer with me. And my heart was always open. I never hid anything. Even things he didn't agree with. Like initially, I would say I'm sending my mom money and he would rage. And I would say, I will still do it. Because to me, it's important. But I did not keep secret. I never did. He knew that.
Oh my!
And because he knew that, he that opened his heart more. Like I could see when we got, deeper into our relationship, like in 4 years, 5 years, that there was nothing that was going to separate us because spiritually we were one now. So that's my answer.
I hope the world is listening, and especially those who are planning to get in a relationship and those who are in relationship. The truth is, relationships today are full of undercovers. and they're full of, imaginations, not truth. And just like you've said, people come in and then they want to change things when they are inside a relationship instead of starting from the table as it starts. When you told us that you said you've got to find another woman. You said that, and I felt like you're hitting me. I felt something hitting me. When a woman you love tells you that you've got to find another woman, it's not an easy thing to take.
No,
I know.
But
I know. Men with their ego, right away they will tell you, okay, yeah, just to give you some time, because we always think, this is what we always think as men, that a woman, when you tell her the first time, they will tell you no. And if you give them time to go home and then come back, they will say yes. But you see, this guy saw you're not coming back to say yes. And he came back himself and he agreed with what you had suggested. So this is a lesson to ladies and a lesson to men that before you sign that contract, before you get into that relationship, get your things right. Don't get there and then, come up again, starting to reverse things. Because we are told, and this is something that I think is still in high school where we studied. There were a lot of boards that were written around to, remind you of things you need to do while at school. And there was one around the administration block that was written, time has no reverse gear.
Mm.
Yeah, it's only a car that you can find a reverse gear, but time will never give you that chance to reverse it. So if today you are saying yes with an intent of saying no tomorrow in a relationship, you are totally wrong.
And you're a big liar, because you're signing a contract under false pretenses. Because a marriage contract, like what we forget, which is very important, is a marriage contract is a legal document. A legal document that is legally binding, right? So whatever it is you're going to put into that legal document, yes, it's for the country, but I took it a step further. We took it a step further because Taurai knew my husband. He's late now, but he taught me so much about life. While I didn't tell you that before we got to that stage where I told him, you better find somebody else, I was advised by my friends, when I think we were just a year into our relationship, to break up with him. And he was away in college. So our relationship was mainly by letters. It was a long distance relationship. So we only communicated by letters and we wrote to each other every day. So which is totally crazy, but we did it. And I sent him a letter and I told him that I wanted to break up with him. And I'm going to the point where he said, most boys would let the girl go and think about it. And you know what he said to me? He said, Melody, I know you love me, and I don't have time to play games with you. So I hope this is the last time you send me such a letter, unless you're serious. Because next time I'll take it seriously and I won't write to you again. And that made me respect him 20 times more than I did before. And 2, I never did it again, because I actually wrote him another letter begging him to forgive me and promising him I was never going to do that again, because he also knew who he was. So a relationship that's going to thrive is of 2 people who know who they are and what's important to them, and they stick by it. So if another, DT person comes and they try to play games, like, I want you to say, if you have a girlfriend that needs to say no to them, so that you wait for them to say no, you need to fix that. That's not a good thing. Because then when she says no, when she really means no, how are you going to know? No is a complete sentence. We tell our boys that now. We tell our girls that now. No is a complete sentence. When someone says no, they have said no. So So you cannot say, oh, at some point you can say no, but you really mean yes, and then and then you can come back. And, that's just not right.
It's never right.
confusing. Is it not confusing to you? Because it confuses me.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, and that's, I agree with you, because I'll also not give that chance, because you can't, once somebody starts a relationship with that note where he says no, and then tomorrow he will tell you, oh, baby, I was just joking, I meant, then there's a problem, because this is somebody you will never trust. What if maybe one day she comes along, or he comes along and tells you the same?
How do you know when they mean it and when they don't?
They don't. That's very true.
Yeah. That's where it gets complicated for me. And I would rather. And actually, my husband was like, I loved him so much. I could never say no to him on so many things. Just like he could never say no to me on so many things. When he said no, I knew it was a no. I knew there was nothing on this earth I could do to change his mind. But, yeah, I knew. Like, he never said no to me, but there were things that he said no to that I knew. Once he said no, I could not dress in skimpy lingerie and persuade him. It was a no.
And that's what we call the authentic love.
Yes, because I remember, again, advice from wild women out there. Someone said, if you want a man to do something for you, dress up in lingerie, perform in bed, and everything will be fine, and he'll give you whatever you want. I did that, and he laughed in my face. Like, I remember he actually looked at me afterwards, after I had done the thing and then asked what I wanted, and he said, oh, was that what it was about? Never do that to me again. If you want something, just ask.
Wow.
And again, I never did it. I learned that, if I want something, if I say, can I have this, or I want to do this, 9 times out of 10, he said yes. And when he said no, he meant no, and that was okay, because there are times when you need to say no. Yeah, and there were times when we agreed to disagree. He said no, I still did it, because to me it was important.
This is a very big lesson we are learning today, Melody. And it is by God's grace that we met, so that we can share this time and people can learn. I think, and I hope those who are listening to this is getting a great information, especially for love and relationships, because they are not working. Most of it today is not working. And listening to what you're saying, we are just missing a very small thing with these relationships. It is not a big thing. It doesn't need millions of money. It doesn't need a love doctor. It doesn't need like prayers and all that. It really needs a very small thing. Yeah, because, some people will tell you, oh, your girlfriend, you just need prayers. You need to go and get your knees down and pray. But really, it is not, as Christian, we believe that we are told that God only helps those who help themselves. And helping yourself is not going to pray. This is not the help that this is not the help that God is, that the Bible tells us about. It is what you put in yourself, and then you pray about it. Then God helps you. So this is what we are missing. We have the prayer, but we miss what to put in ourselves to make that prayer work.
Yeah, because what we have lost, which is fundamental, is we've closed our hearts for whatever reason. We've been hurt a lot. Like Africans, it's a big deal. And even in the world, because if you know about quantum physics, everything is energy. And the energy, that's why you find that someone did a video, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube, where they were doing experiments, and some monkeys on one side of the world started putting their potatoes in salt, in sea salt, and eating them. On the other side of the channel, monkeys don't talk to each other, right? On the other side of the channel, on the other side of the world, monkeys started doing the exact same thing. How did those monkeys know that those monkeys were doing that? So a lot of chaos that has happened in the world is because men are not emotionally attached to connected to themselves. Even when you look at them physically, science has shown their emotional center is tiny. Like, I think it's a third of what women have, right? But they are also the people who have made laws and rules about the world. So in order for things to shift, women need to, before you even say, I'm going to change something, connect with your heart first. Open your heart fully. Know what love is, really, what it is authentically, and start giving it to yourself. Before you even open your mouth to give it to anybody, give it to yourself first. Grow it inside you so much that when you start to share it, it keeps growing. Then you can influence. Men are not difficult to influence. They're very easy. Like, if I tell you, when I changed my relationship with my husband, I didn't even have a conversation with him. I did it all myself. And he followed. So, yeah, he still loved. And he found it was easy to be with me, and everything fell into place, right? It's still the same thing, that because it starts in the home, and then it goes into community, and then it goes into the world. So the fact that relationships are not working means the community is suffering, the home is suffering, even the church is suffering. So if you go to prayer, like you said, when Jesus prayed, he acted. Jesus never prayed and left it there. He prayed and acted. He said, everything is demonstrated. And I really love to follow the footsteps of Jesus. But in terms of when he wanted them to make wine, he didn't say, I pray God produce wine. He said, put water into this thing. Nobody heard the prayer he made. Water turned into wine. Right?
Very correct.
And then we spend days shouting at God to hear our prayers. We actually think God lives up there somewhere. So we shout. And if we don't shout, we shout harder. And we shout. And we write it on pieces of paper. And we cry. And we beg. God lives in here. If you want to connect to God, open your heart. And you'll feel God speaking to you. I can guarantee you this. I'm not a preacher. That's not my forte. But that's what I know.
That's a very touching sentiment over there, Melody. And I agree with you. We are missing it. We are really missing it, especially those who already know who God is and who reads the Bible, who goes to church, but still we cannot, connect how these things are working. There's that sense of you need to do something, put something into work. You were given hands. And we are also told that God only blesses the hand that works. So that's what we are missing, and it's what you are giving into us, Melody. So it's been a very great time with you, Melody, here. We've learned a lot of information on how to love self. We've learned a lesson on how to be authentic in love. We've learned a lesson on how to get marriage into the road, and how love is not the only thing that makes marriage colorful. We've also seen how true love and self-love connects to each other, Melody. So before we wind up, Melody, I would like you to give an advice to those who have attempted love and never succeeded. I would put it at so, but it's always not about succeeding. But those who have been hurt, those who have been, those who've gotten pain and heartache, as you put it, lost self-discovery in love and relationship, what short message do you have for them?
Okay. The most important thing when you've been hurt is to take the time to heal. And you can't do this yourself, because if you knew how to do it, you would have done it already. Find somebody, not necessarily me, but somebody who can help you to walk you through it. Because when you heal, when you get to the other side, and it's very easy, like I have a 5-step program, which is 5-week program that teaches people how to do that. And it takes all the materials I used to heal my own heart after my husband died, because my heart broke and I broke. And it was like, I've shown you these simple little things that were happening in my marriage. So imagine losing that and waking up and realizing everybody's marriage is a mess. It's scary. So when I healed myself, I took all those things and I put them together and I help people get through that pain by healing. Because it's only after you've healed. It's like when I don't know, farming. It's like clearing the field before you start planting new seeds. That's what healing does for you.
Wow, that's a great one, Melody. And I really appreciate you taking your time with us and sharing with us this deep conversation that most of us even fear to share. And I've always reminded people that you will learn a lot by sharing our own stories rather than, just talking a freestyle or maybe talking about a book, talking about maybe a movie or something of sort. Our own stories do impact a lot of people across the world. So we've been talking with Melody. Melody is the CEO and founder of the Heart Passion Institute and also the author of Why Self-Love is the key to true love. And Melody also is helping women who have been heartbroken with her course that is a creator of the Healing from Heartbreak course, which you can go through and can help you to see how life is sweet when you know what to do and what to put in life itself. So this book that we've just talked about, Melody, what answer does it give before we finish up?
It gives you an idea of what you need to do to start opening to self-love, why self-love is important for your life, how to create true love, and how to have relationships that are thriving and happy.
That's the shortest that we can have tonight. And I think without much ado, we call it a day. Thank you so much, Melody, for creating this time and, having an opportunity to talk with us. And also to our listeners all over the world and those who are watching us as well. Thank you so much. And we hope that Melody will agree to come back again and have a conversation with us, because this is a brain that we can just have for a single day. It's not even a day, some few minutes. So we've got to give you a longer time so that we can speak and you can grow the world as we are hoping that this message will thrive them, Melody. So anything that you have as a parting shot, Melody, before we close?
Thank you so much, John. I've really enjoyed myself. And yes, I would love to come back because this really feeds my soul, talking about relationships all the time. And if people want to connect with me, they can find me on Facebook, Heart Passion Melody, and my website. I'm sure you have links, right? You have links, John? So
yes.
You can have links as well. Heart Passion Institute. You can also get the book from Amazon if you are anyway. I think you can get Amazon anywhere in the world. So you can order your own copy and you can read it either in print or as an ebook, which you can get delivered immediately, actually. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it and put reviews on so that other people can find it as well. Yeah, let's keep talking about this because I think it's important and it could help some people.
That's so well. So if you want to connect to Melody, you'll get the links down there. Just scroll down, you can see the links and you can connect and see where the love lives. Thank you so much, Melody. Until we meet again. Bye-bye.